Wednesday, March 18th will be a momentous day in the history of Arkansas Tech University as we will celebrate the grand opening of Ferguson Student Union. And one of the people who has been integral in getting us to this day is Chelsea Neal, who's the Associate Dean for Campus Life at Arkansas Tech and Director of the Ferguson Student Union. Chelsea, thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
If you could just kind of walk us through a summary of how we got to this moment, how and why Ferguson Student Union came to be.
I think we saw a need on campus to create a living room of campus, but also that well-being side of things, with our campus recreation center being housed in the Ferguson Student Union. And I think it's going to hit a lot of different marks for our students. I know this journey started about 10 years ago, and I've been a part of it for 6 of those years. And it's been a lot of work with us and our students to get to the place we are with that building.
You mentioned the students. They've had a huge input on the design of Ferguson Student Union and a lot of the elements that are inside it. How important has that student input been during the process?
Yeah, we made sure that that was at the forefront of everything we did when we were looking at different aspects of this building, down to what kind of furniture was in different spaces to make it the most student-friendly that we possibly could. One of my favorite things when we were going through everything was the esports room that's in there. And those students had so much input in that space and what it was going to be like, because I'm not a gamer. That's not my area of expertise. So we need to lean on our students who are experts in that field, and look at that and say, okay, what would you utilize this space for? And how could you utilize it the best, and make sure that we're meeting their needs?
The esports room is just one of several amenities that exist inside Ferguson Student Union. If you could just kind of walk us through the building and what people will experience once it opens on March 18th.
Yeah, I think what's great about that space is it encompasses so much of the center of campus life for all of our students. So one of the largest areas in that building is the campus recreation center, and that is such a integral part of what that building is, because we've never had that on our campus. I know how that would have changed my life as a student, of being able to work out before classes or in between classes. So we're going to be offering fitness classes in there, showing students that healthy lifestyle that we want them to carry forward after they leave here. So that campus recreation center, I think, is what really a lot of our focus has been on. And then the other piece to that building is all of the rooms and the spaces for student organizations to have a true space that's theirs. They're not sharing with working around classes and working around class schedules of when they can have their meetings, when they can host their events. There's a space for everyone in there, and all different room sizes, from a room that holds 15 people to a room that holds 300. We can make it work for what they need it to work for. And they're the first line of who gets to use that space. Probably one of my favorite spaces in that building is the Steve Lawrence Involvement Center. I know that space is just going to change and transform how our RSOs operate on campus. So student organizations will have the ability to print posters, print flyers, make buttons, and they've had those abilities, but it's never been housed in one location and so easily accessible to them. It's been come to my office and get this stuff, and now there's a space for them to collaborate, to make things happen, to meet about events they want to host. And so that's probably one of the spaces I'm most excited about.
You mentioned it has been a long time coming for us to get to this point of almost being able to open Ferguson Student Union. I have memories of back before even the pandemic of students writing things on Post-it notes and putting it on a board of kind of their dreams of what they wanted this building to be. And now it's real. And you get a chance to walk into it every day now as you're planning for the grand opening of the building, and your office is located in there. To go from those dreams of long ago to now it being tangible and real, what is that like for you?
Ooh, that is truly what dreams are made of in higher education, I think. I think back to being a student here and how that building would have changed everything I did as a student leader on this campus, and then as a graduate assistant in campus life, and now as the associate dean for campus life, about how we can program for our students and make that a home for them and a space for them. It's been a lot of work to get to this point, but walking in there every day, I'm like, I can't wait for students to be in here and fill this space and to hear them be loud and own it. It's their home, and I want them to own that space, and I want them to make that their home. So it's a little emotional for me.
The grand opening will take place at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, March 18th. We definitely want to invite everybody who can hear our voices to come and join us for that joyous celebration on March the 18th. How would you describe the experience that you and your colleagues hope to be able to create for everyone who experiences the building for the first time on March 18th?
We want that wow factor of all of our hard work is going to pay off on that day for everyone to see it for the first time. Yes, you can see the front of the building right now and you get little glimpses through the windows, but you can't truly grasp everything that is housed in there. And that campus life is all in one place for the first time ever. That alone is a huge deal for our staff, is that we're not, campus recreation's not across campus in a house, and we're not over in the whole building, that we're all under one roof and we can offer that great experience for students, but also to showcase to our alumni and our donors and everyone how much their support has meant to get us to the place we're at, because there's so many students who have played a role in getting us to where we are with that building that are not students anymore. They've gone on and graduated, and I hope they do come back that day so that they can see that their work mattered.
My friend and colleague Ryan Taylor sitting over there to the side doing all the hard work to make this podcast possible. And he and I were both students here at Arkansas Tech back when the Doc Bryan Student Services Center opened and when Ross Pendergraft Library and Technology Center opened. And I've told a lot of folks as we've gone through this process of planning and now getting ready to open Ferguson Student Union, I believe that Ferguson Student Union is going to do the same thing for this generation that those buildings did for our generation, just totally change everybody's perception of Arkansas Tech. And I think this is going to be the same thing for this current generation. When we look back 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, which is hard to imagine right now, but it's also hard to imagine that the library's over 25 years old now. When we look back in 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, how do you hope people say Ferguson Student Union changed Arkansas Tech for the better?
I hope they look at it and they say that was my home. Like, that was my place on campus. I found my best friends there. I met my orientation leaders there. We just passed Valentine's Day and I saw all those stories of different places that people met on campus. I hope there's people that can say in the future, I met on the steps of the Ferguson Student Union on the first day of classes. And so I hope that it becomes that focal point of our campus and that place where everybody looks at it and says, that was my home.
I will not be surprised at all with the addition of the Tomlinson cupola out front. I've kind of got it in my mind that might become a spot to get engaged, do those kind of things. Yes. I think all those kind of traditions, a lot of new traditions will come about as part of this building. And that brings up another good point. This is more than just Ferguson Student Union. The Mullins Plaza out in front just kind of reshaped that whole area of campus, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
That's really going to be a huge change. So Wednesday, March 18th, we want to invite everybody to come out and join us for the grand opening, don't we? What would you say to folks who are thinking, maybe that's not for me? How would you encourage folks to come out and join us?
I think you're not going to want to miss that. That is going to be such a pivotal day on our campus, and that building, as crazy as it sounds, it's going to change our students' lives. Like I said, from the well-being side of things to we finally have a space to host a large or small event that we want to host to I want to ask if we can have a regional conference here for my organization. It will change our students' lives forever, and how they view Arkansas Tech and how they look back at their experience here.
It's the grand opening of Ferguson Student Union coming up on Wednesday, March 18th at 2 p.m. We hope to see you there. Until next time, so long, everybody.